Temporary President Pro Tem as the leader of the Economic Development Committee. First up, we'll have a roll call vote, or roll call to make sure everybody's here.
McKeever?
Here.
Myers?
Here.
Me?
Here.
Truca? Sherrick?
Here.
Vote?
Here.
All set.
All right. Moving on, up on the list here, we have Jesse Ferner from the Chamber of Commerce. So I will let you come to the podium.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Foe. I will come to the podium, but I think you all can hear me, so I'm not going to lean over and put that microphone close to my mouth.
Okay.
So I think everyone was probably here when Ms. Stein came in and gave her presentation about the DORA. Nothing has changed. We basically filled out the application for the city, passed it on to them. It's not going to belong to economic development nor the chamber. It will belong to the city. However, we have both been working towards this since February of this year. So basically, I do have the packet. I do have the application if someone would like to look at it. The only points I would like to make, Jerry, are that having a DORA will only attract new businesses. It will give our downtown area a better chance of success. The example that I like to throw out there for humor and to make a point is that if a Chi-Chi's wanted to move into the old Huntington Bank, if they knew we had a DORA, they would know that their chances for success would be better. So there's that. There's no Chi-Chi's anymore, I don't think, but anyhow. Yes. So another point is that the movies at Shines Park, First Fridays, Music at the Mural, having a DORA would take those to the next level. Someone can take their wine slushie, they go, they walk up and down, they're maybe gonna stay longer, they're maybe gonna come to First Friday when they wouldn't have considered doing so otherwise. I can't think of one reason why it would hurt any downtown establishment. I've spoken with every single business that is included in the boundary of the DORA. We're basically all in favor. Every selling establishment inside of the boundary is within favor of it. It will appeal to young professionals that want to come. As all of you are aware, we are a white, aging, leaving population. So this would help draw young professionals to our area, help people stay here. And it has been tried in, I believe, over 80 communities, and now it has been successful everywhere. I have no community that I've reached out to that has anything negative to say, except that there's a little bit more trash. And I've talked with Ossenheimer. He says we're not going to be on trash duty. We're not going to be figuring out whose cups came from where or anything like that. They're not too worried about it. They're in support of it. So basically, we need more trash cans. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
You said basically everyone was in favor. Did you even have any businesses at all that gave you any opposition?
No, the only opposition was that like Special Moments said, we don't want somebody bringing their red wine slushie in here while they're shopping for wedding dresses.
Yeah.
Sherwin-Williams, they're like, heck yes, bring your drinks in, shop for some paint, let's get it done.
I think we discussed it at one point where, the little stoplight system.
Yes, exactly.
If you want to touch on that real quick, I think that's a good thing for people to hear.
Sure. So we thought that a stoplight system would be nice. It would be very easy to visually understand if you could come in to that establishment with your drink. So if it is a green light, then it is a business that sells DORA drinks. And you can obviously drink inside of there, take your cup from that establishment, go around. If it's a yellow light, they don't sell alcohol, but you can bring your drink into that establishment. For instance, Sherwin-Williams would be a yellow light on the door. And then if it's a red light, that would be Special Moments or another business that says, no, please don't bring your DORA in here.
Another question. I know there was some discussion back and forth on the times, the days of the week, the times.
Yes,
Can you kind of go over what that final thing was on the application?
Our original plan was to have it, for simplicity's sake, be basically 7 days a week. We were mimicking what they're doing up in Tiffin. I think it's 11 to 11 or 10 to 11 to 10, something like that. So we had some pushback a little bit from that, and we've decided to, I think we changed it to what Crestline is doing. And by the way, they are supposed to start, I think, in September, so they pushed theirs through as an emergency. Granted, their boundaries are a lot smaller than ours. This application still has the 11 to 11, but I think it had been further discussed to just do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And
I'm going to go on the record and say that I'm in favor of what, as you say, for the simplicity's sake. I think it's a lot to put on a server to have to look at the clock and think, well, can I or can't I right now? You know, if they're legally allowed to be open and selling, I think that simplifies
completely
everything.
agree.
And I don't think you're going to have an overwhelming number of people, you know, at the 11 a.m. hour that
Right.
are going to cause grief, I
Right.
suppose.
Do you guys know if the application has been turned in, or we can't do that until these public?
I believe this is one of the steps that has to happen
Okay.
before it can actually be
Okay, because we
submitted.
didn't pass it as an emergency.
It's in the
like that.
hands of the administration now, and part of the process through the state is to have this hearing, and then there's a time frame. We have to allow so many days for public input, and this is part of that.
Perfect. If you guys have the most recent application, it might have those updated times on it. This one is from the original with the 11 to 11. And that, again, for simplicity's sake, for the cups, I would think it should be just that all the time. But again, just to get it passed through, I would be willing to do whatever. You guys
Yeah.
want to do Saturday
Yeah.
from 5 to 7, that's, because this can be revisited easily. We
Yeah.
can modify this easily. It's just getting it through, then it can be modified down the road. And the chamber is going to buy the cups, at least in the beginning. Yes, Aaron?
So we have not decided the actual days yet?
In our original application,
Yeah,
it's
before.
7 days a week, 11 to 11. I think there might be an updated application that has something like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, something a little more condensed.
It's my understanding that the administration is the one responsible for submitting the application, and the administration would make that decision. So if we feel otherwise, I think it would behoove us to reach out to the administration with our thoughts. But like Jesse said, I think, something's better than nothing at this point to get it into place, and find out how it works. That was discussed in some of the planning stages.
So they said that it didn't matter how we started it, how we ended
It
up
could
with
be
it.
changed.
It could be changed.
Yes.
So if the cups just said 11 to 11, you don't have to have the days of the week on the cup.
You don't have to put any of that on the
I
cup.
say-
It's more what we submit and what that goes into an ordinance allowing it from
And
time
they
X to time
decided
X.
times that they're not going to allow it, like during the
Kevin
Bratwurst
suggested bratwurst.
Yeah, I most
I-
definitely would not want it during the festival.
Same.
I
And the only
think-
person that disagreed with that I know of is Natalie. She was like, I want it during the festival. I might stay open during the festival.
Yeah,
if
but
I-
that would hurt the beer gardens, which a lot of places, that's their.
Probably, but I mean, I'm fine, again, cut it off during the festival, no issues at all. But one thing I want people to know is that, because there's been talk about public intoxication. Someone actually said, you think that public intoxication is needed for quality of life. Not to me, but to Ms. Stein, in a meeting for the partnership. And she was like, no, that's not what I'm saying. All of the laws still apply. You can still not fight in public, you still can't throw your booze around, you can't be publicly intoxicated, and it's one drink. You can only leave with one drink.
I'll tell you too, Jesse, to go on record for that, when they were having the discussions about putting in the outdoor seating in front of Norman's, there was sentiment that said then that, we're gonna have, the gutters are gonna be lined with drunks and cups laying everywhere, and have you seen any of that?
No.
What you have seen is a beautiful setting on the outside of that store, the traffic that is driving back and forth through here to the lake, it's inviting them to stop, and I think, that's what our goal here is. Our goal is to make this an inviting place for our local people as well as our travelers to want to spend a little bit extra time.
I absolutely agree. Couldn't agree more. Yes,
So
Mr.
the
Mead.
changes that would be made if this was adopted in would be by the administration, not by us?
Correct. They have to fill out this application. We filled it out to try to push them along. We're like, here's what we give. You sign it and you can turn it in as is if you would like. I don't know how good you guys can see, and if you were here, but the boundary encompasses basically Pisanello's up to the Fox, up to Baker's, and then all the way out. It gets all of the veterans clubs, and then it goes as far as Elks.
The Elks and
VFW.
the VFW, yeah.
So it's kind of shaped like a tap, which is awesome. And we could put these on shirts, but that's just me, so. But yeah, all the businesses within the boundaries are listed in here. Everybody knows about it. I invite anyone to reach out to any other community. Marion has one now.
But any changes that would be made after it was implemented?
After it's implemented, are pretty easy to make from what I
And
understand.
I think it can go through this body. Don't quote me on that, but I think
Because that was
The
one of the
administration
unanswered
has
questions.
because it's all in the Ohio Revised Code, the administration has the initial application, but I believe council can make some adjustments and can temporarily ban it for things like the Bratwurst Festival. And if the car show, if the police department, felt strongly that they wanted it disabled during the car show, we would have to take action to do that, so.
Yeah, and we'll review it. I think right here at the end, it's review and dissolution of DORA. So in 6 months, if this is bad, we can just take it all away. Or continue.
The cups,
Yes.
who, we sell them as a city, and the money goes into
Other
the
communities.
treasurer as, for trash removal?
It
Or does
could.
it go into the general fund and can be appropriated to?
It depends on, different communities have done it different ways. When we wanted to have this, like during COVID time, then we wanted to just give the businesses that surcharge. It's a 50 cents surcharge is what people, typically the bars are charging for that cup. Now, some of them have to pay for the cups. Obviously, it's way cheaper than 50 cents, but then the businesses were keeping that expense because they were hurting so bad. Now, we will have a lot more trash pickup. There will need to be more of that. So Aaron and I, when we had our meeting with Kevin, we were like, yes, you could, however you want to work it out, but I don't think it's going to be a whole heck of a lot of money. But yeah, absolutely. Give it to the trash guys.
Yeah, I'd like to see that 50 cents per cup
Well,
come
it
back to the
belongs to the
city, and the city then
yes.
could appropriate
And so
that
we
into
have
the
pledged,
refuse-
the
solid
chamber has
refuse
pledged to
fund.
buy like the first $3,500 worth, which I think is 50,000 cups. So that should last quite a while. But then after that, it would be basically up to the businesses to order. We can house them at the chamber, but then, if the city's gonna get the 50-cent surcharge, I don't know if we could charge businesses a cheaper amount and then they keep track of that surcharge, or if the city would purchase the cups and then I could collect the money when they come to pick them up, because I will have tracking in place. So if Baker's Pizza is going through 30,000 cups and Norman's is going through 2, I'll know that. Because I'll keep track of who, because if I don't, then somebody could just be getting a bunch of cups and using them at their barbecue or something. But I like the idea of, because the boundaries have to be marked, and then we have to have extra trash receptacles. Personally, I like the color of like a wine color for the logo. And then one idea for the boundaries is to just possibly paint like maybe a 1 or a 2-inch line along the curb or on the sidewalk or something like that. And then we have quotes for signage. We can do like a temporary, like a yard sign or like a PVC, a thin PVC, until we could order the metal signs if it was going to be permanent.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Any opposing views? All right. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Yes.
just had, and nothing against the Bratwurst Festival, but I was at the Bratwurst Festival with my mom. And she says, well, we can just take these out anywhere, can't we? Because apparently she heard this. I said, I don't think I would do that, Mom. So, here's my point is if you don't do it during the festival, it's going to be confusing it's going to be real confusing for people who don't hear that, okay, it's no DORA during these 3 days.
Well, the establishment would be the one that would have to sell it to them, and I think we
Well,
would just have to clearly make sure the establishment knows. And I think that's easy enough done because we're looking at, 7 establishments, I believe, total?
Yep.
So, that information could be given. What I saw 2 problems with the festival time. Number one being there's just so many people. How do you police who's going in and where and things? And then what's to stop you from keeping your cup because there's so many people around, and then you have your little cooler over here and you refill it again? I mean, and I think that's part of the problem, that I don't think that would happen in a music at the mural or a concert at the park type thing, that I think during the festival, it's a little different clientele with a little different
Just put it
mentality,
in that
especially
lemonade
into
cup.
the evening time.
Yeah, they already put the beer can in the lemonade cup, so.
Right, so that's kind of why I felt like, and the police chief agreed with me on that one, that was probably a 3-day period that we didn't want to see that.
Yeah.
Now, can we revisit that? Heck, yes.
Yeah, and some place like Pisanello's was closed, Natalie is closed. So those are 2 places that, some places just close up for the festival.
Yeah.
So. I just want to see it happen. Like I had mentioned, I've been working on this since February. I've been all over the state of Ohio talking to other communities. Again, no one has anything bad to say. It's only helped businesses. So,
And I think another point to make is we did reach out to some law enforcement and
Absolutely.
fire departments in other communities, you know, Tiffin, Findlay, things like that. And I can't remember which police chief it was Findlay or Tiffin, made the comment that I almost wish that something bad had happened so you would believe me.
yeah.
But when I say that we have had 0 instances of any type of trouble that would be attributed to this, that was refreshing to hear. You know, both those communities are larger than us, and so if they're, and they're both college towns to boot, and I think if they're having, you know, that good of luck with that, I think that bodes well for our chances of good success as well.
Worthington was the very first one, and they've had no issues.
Yeah.
So again, it can only help our businesses. I've been putting so much fire behind this, and I kind of took a step back because there wasn't a whole lot happening, and I keep having these businesses that I'm like, yes, I'm going to fight for you, I'm going to go, and they're like, what's going on?
We're moving at the speed of government,
Yes.
so.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Anything else?
Jesse.
All right. You guys got anything else exciting to talk about I should stick around for?
We just have to go through the motion here tonight,
All right.
all the motions.
All right. So since Jesse's finished, does anybody have anything else for her before I move on? Okay. Public hearing has been called to consider the modification, approval, or disapproval of the application for a designated outdoor refreshment area. Under consideration at this meeting is application received to establish a designated outdoor refreshment area pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 4301.82. Notice for this hearing was published in the Bucyrus Telegraph Forum on July 30th, 2021. Today, anyone interested in expressing his/her opinion about the proposed changes may do so by approaching the podium. Each is asked to state his/her name, address, and whether he or she is a proponent or opponent of the proposed application. 5 minutes will be allotted each guest. Everyone is asked to keep in mind that this is a public hearing, and this public hearing is being held only to share information. No decisions will be made at this time, and all information presented this evening will be considered by the Economic Development Committee and for appropriate committees at a later date. I guess my committee's comments, I've not had any opponents to moving forward with this. I would say amongst our discussion in the committee, I would just reiterate some of the things that were said during Ms. Ferner's presentation, most of which being that of all the cities or other areas that have tried this, none of them have had any uptick in any type of public urination, public intoxication, or any type of alcohol-related instances. The only thing has been said is that you will have an uptick in some plastic garbage or plastic cups for garbage. The biggest issue, it seems like is not that they're not necessarily throwing them away when they leave the door area, they're just setting them down and kind of moving on out the door area. So I think that's just, we learn from other cities' trial and error. We make sure that we have refuse cans, garbage cans, however you want to phrase that, at those intersections where the DORA ends to make sure that they have that place to put that. I firmly agree that whatever is made off of the cups to be used towards garbage and refuse cleanup, whether it be for paying, extra city pickup or paying to get some extra cans out there to accommodate more cups.
Well, I think the biggest expense of the city is going to be paying by tonnage. We're going to have slightly more at least trash taken to the landfill. I think that's what we're going to see.
I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, but then you got to pay somebody to sort through that can, take everything out.
If we could get cans that are only the size of the hole, like
Yeah.
aluminum cans are, maybe.
Do the recycle, like even
I can
do the
fit a lot of
trash can
stuff in
next to the
that hole.
recycle
We can take
can.
it to Seneca, they have a single stream system and they'll sort it themselves.
Yeah, sure.
Here again, all things that we can look at, but like I said, those are the big issues, it seems, is it's more of a just making sure we're finding ways to pick up after, keep it cleaned up. It's not more of an issue of causing problems. So I guess we'll move on then. We'll start out with anybody that's a proponent. Please come up to the podium, state your name and address, and give your reason why, if you'd like.
Do you want to go on the record as for or against?
No, I'm
You're good?
He's vanilla.
All right. Well, since Dan's the only one here, and he said that he is okay
It's
with.
fine, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm behind it, so.
Okay.
I mean, that's, if you want to put that, I guess.
So that's a behind it from a wire ball.
That's right.
We did have a meeting, an advisory meeting before Aaron came to give a presentation, and Dr. Shadid was there, and he had a lot of good questions, and he said that he understands how it would be a benefit to the community, And I also spoke with my pastor, Mike Corwin, and he said, I cannot go on record saying that I'm for or against any kind of drinking, but I definitely can see how this would be a benefit to the community. I think we could have outdoor communion.
That's a big turnaround from when,
He was
We
chief of police.
had the outside
no,
seating.
from when he wanted to put the beer garden down there in fine.
Knights of Columbus?
No.
Natalie's.
No, beside Baker's, the building.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gus's.
Gus wanted to do, we had
Yeah.
he had a whole crowd up here, so.
Well, also
Yeah.
for the outside seating too.
Yeah, was he probably came for that too, so.
I know how to soften him up, I guess.
I guess you do.
You're a resident. You want to go on record as for or against?
Yes. Yes, please.
So one for or four?
Yep. All right, with nobody else in the audience, I will ask for a motion to refer this back to the.
So moved.
Second.
When's the next public hearing?
We're
First
fixing
by
to answer that
Kevin,
question.
second by Mark. All those in favor, stay aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Economic Development Committee meeting will be held on September 9th, 2021 in council chambers at 6 PM. Do I have a motion to excuse our council members who were absent, Mr. Truca and Ms. Alsep?
So moved.
I have a motion by Myers, second by me. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. And I will ask for a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Second.
First by Mark, second by Kevin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And we will adjourn
18:22.
at 6:23 PM. Thank you for coming.